So many looking for a wedding destination. A lot of times we go for a tropical place. Many thinking about Hawaii, but therein lies a lot of challenges. Where to go? Who to help you out with that? The vendors, the photography, the video, on and on and on and on. Got somebody. I know I got a person. I got a person that's going to take care of all of that for you. And she is wonderful with so many reviews, positive reviews, and she's facilitated, if you will, and also officiated
broadcasting from the business capital of the world.
Hundreds
this is
of
the
weddings.
Business
She's the
News
woman
Network.
behind Simple Kona Beach Weddings, and she's back with us, Becky Ringler, on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful, Steve. It's a beautiful day here, and I'm so glad we have Tammy and Greg with us today, one of my couples from November 1st. This will be really fun, just a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that recent. Greg and Tammy, welcome. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. We're doing well.
Why Hawaii? Why'd you pick there to get married?
Well, I mean, it was kind of I don't want to say complicated because that's not the right word, but we're older. It's not our first rodeo. We didn't want a huge thing. We actually were going to go on a cruise with some friends to Spain, and we had talked about getting married there, but you can't officially be married in Spain. It's you can just have a ceremony for doing that, but it's not official. And anyway, long story short, it just became very complicated with our friends and who was going to be there. And so one day we were laying in bed and we're like, this is becoming too much. And Greg's like, I know. And I said, let's just go to Hawaii and get married. And he's like, I like that idea. And so that's how that came about. As far as picking the destination, because we thought it would be way more relaxing, beautiful venue. And that's.
And we also knew there'd be lots of people to help us with this, and we found one, a very good one.
Yeah.
Tell us, how did you find Becky?
That was Tammy, I think.
I just started going online to see about, weddings in Hawaii and those kind of things. And there were a few different wedding planners that came up. We kind of thought, well, we'll get married on the Big Island versus Maui because Maui's just a little more hectic. And so she popped up on a couple websites and had really good reviews. And so I reached out to her, and she's the only one we interviewed because after we talked to her, done, we're going to use Becky.
Yeah, it was an easy decision.
We knew it was going to be great.
Becky, tell us about that first conversation.
Honestly, it was a really long time ago, wasn't it now? I feel like it was
about a year.
Yeah, like a year ago.
It was March, wasn't it? March.
Yeah, it was like March. But I just remember we had we had a Zoom conversation, which is always so nice because then we can see each other and talk with each other. But I just had a really great feeling. Of course, Tammy and Greg are super wonderful and relaxed. But everything they were hoping for is what I love to do. Just try and make it as beautiful and yet as stress-free as possible. And it was just really fun. We had a great conversation, as I recall, and it just felt really easy. So,
were you, Greg and Tammy? What were you looking for? What were maybe you had a list of things, and there were things at the top that we need to make sure that get achieved in getting married. And I mean, you guys are from Colorado. Here you are. It's almost like it's another country, but it's part of this country. What was on your list?
Well, first of all, someone that we were comfortable with, that we could connect with, that, that first conversation with Becky, she listens intently at, what you're looking to accomplish, what you want, what your aspirations are for a wedding. And, so that was probably, for me anyway, the most important thing is someone that I felt a connection with, comfortable with, someone that I knew could handle our service end to end and guide us in the right way. Do you have anything to add to that?
For me, that was definitely on the list, but also just to make it I didn't want a stressful wedding. It was a small wedding. We only had 7 guests, but I didn't want to have to worry about, anything, honestly. I just wanted to go to Hawaii and relax and enjoy our time together. And so that was part of it. Like, could she provide guidance on where to eat and where to get hair and makeup and all those kinds of things that you just have. I mean, yeah, I could have went on the internet and searched, but you have no idea how good they are or anything. So I was looking for someone that could provide that kind of guidance as well.
I just want to share, and I've shared this before with Becky. In another life, I got married on a tropical island and just found it online. This is going way back. And you never know what you're going to get. There was no Zoom conversation, and it was okay, except the photography. They used regular film, and some people do now. It's an art. There were scratches on the negatives. There was miscommunications. Wasn't the worst experience, but it wasn't Becky. It just wasn't Becky. Becky, tell us about the ceremony. Kind of set the stage.
Sure. I mean, it was a really beautiful evening. And I just feel like it was like this, actually it was really nice because it wasn't very warm. It was like the perfect temperature is what I would say in terms of weather. I feel like everything just came together really beautifully. I just remember the looks on your faces too when you were getting married. It was so touching and just so beautiful, and your family was there. Oh, and I do want to mention, so we've talked before about my heart-shaped bowl that I use. Well, Tammy's dad made a special bowl out of koa wood. Is he a woodworker? Or was that a hobby?
Yeah. He actually sells like wooden boxes at a market in Portland, Oregon, for his retirement job.
Yeah, so he made a special bowl for us to use for that part of the ceremony.
Yeah,
which was really special, and there was a lot of really, I feel like, really touching moments there. It was really, really special. But I'd love to hear what you guys liked the best about all that stuff.
Well, starting with the venue, I mean, how can you go wrong with look at the backdrop that Becky has there on the screen? I mean, it's just fabulous. Palm trees, lava rocks, ocean water. It is outdoors, and it had its moments with the breeze, but it was just a fabulous evening, and the setting couldn't be more beautiful for us. For me, the moment was when Tammy came up, because I hadn't seen her all day. And when she came up behind me and I'm turned around, and I was in tears. It was stunning to see her in her dress and the makeup and the hair and everything. It was amazing. It really was.
Tammy, what do you recall?
For me, the actual ceremony was just so fantastic because, I just thought, oh, we'll stand up there. She'll say a few things about being married, and then we'll say, I do. But she gave us a whole thing about, she blew a conch shell, and then all these traditions for, having a wonderful life. And it was really neat, all those things that she added to the ceremony, which I wasn't expecting. So that was wonderful.
Obviously you're there for that experience, the tropical vibe, the Polynesian culture. You knew you were going to get that, but did you realize during the ceremony and everything that was going on, did you say to yourself, we're really here. We're really part of what goes on here and their traditions about life, love, and happiness?
Definitely. Yeah. That Becky brings that through in the whole ceremony and from the very get-go. The bowl was significant that her father made with lava rock and ocean water and the rings in the water, and just the whole process that she took us through in that. You feel like there's a part that's sort of traditional wedding intertwined with a Hawaiian theme, that the two commingled so nicely that you really did feel, we both felt a strong connection, and will so for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Feel that connection to Hawaii.
Becky, you've shared with us before that there is a tradition, if couples so choose, where there's a bowl filled with ocean water, if I recall, and then the rings are in that.
Yep.
Did we do that this time? And I'm curious if Tammy's dad just made a bowl for the rings, or he knew that this is what we do.
I think he knew. I mean, I was telling them that I do that every time. So there is always, the rings are always in a bowl of ocean water, but we had a discussion about that being a part of it. And so Tammy said, I think you asked him to make a bowl. Is that right, Tammy?
Yeah. Well, because when you had first told me about it, I think I had read about it and I was asking, you were explaining it. And I was thinking, well, I want the bowl. Like, I want to keep it afterwards. And you're like, well, I just have the one that I use. And so I ordered a block of koa wood online, had it shipped to my father, and he made a bowl out of it.
And I have a picture of that too. We can, do you want me to, I can.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me see here.
I'm just thinking now, I never realized that, never thought about that. Having that bowl as a keepsake, oh my gosh. It's dare I say, it's almost as good as the rings because of what it symbolizes.
Absolutely, especially that connection to her dad.
And then there's that.
And
wow.
That's something we can hand down. And
I have the bowl now on my nightstand that I put my jewelry in at night when I take it.
That's so awesome.
I go to bed. Yeah.
Wow.
I just wanted to check, Tammy, Greg, are you okay that I share some photos?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
Hey, listen, I didn't get an invite. I want to see what's going on here.
We can look at, by the way, this, here, I can pull this up. This is the first look. So, Greg was turned away from Tammy, and wow. So it was like a really, really touching moment. Some of these first look photos. So this is before the ceremony begins. So it was really, really just absolutely sweet.
Wow,
that's a good picture.
Yeah.
And their photos are almost done, actually. So this is. We've got 3/4 of the gallery in here. And so the beach, this particular beach has kind of, like Greg was saying, it has everything. There's trees and palm trees and lava rocks. And it was a little windy. I know that, that's being on the sand outside, but I feel like that makes it just look a little more realistic. Like, well, it's not a studio; you really are outside, so you can tell.
But you know what? You don't detect that there's a lot of wind. It's not like hair blowing all over the place, and if you didn't tell me it was windy, I would never know. So
here's the bowl, by the way.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't that beautiful? You picked a great piece of koa, Tammy. By the way, it's so beautiful.
Oh.
So yeah, and their rings were in the bowl.
Tammy, you now. I'm sorry, Becky. You now have a bowl vendor.
Yeah,
that's true. If someone wants to take a bowl, Tammy, I can. I'll contact you and say, hey, I have a bride whose dad makes bowls. That's a great idea.
This is just knowing that you have that bowl is just doing it alone is wonderful as part of the ceremony, but having it, like you said, I just picture it on a nightstand and you put jewelry or whatever, but it's so nice to have. And that alone, it's fine. But knowing it was made by your father, Tammy, even more.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
There's a lot of nice connection there with family, right? That
sure.
You have forever.
Yeah. I love it when, couples.
There's my dad there.
Oh yeah. Here.
Oh, wow.
All right. Hang on here. Sorry, I've got things in my way here. So let me move this up the side. Okay. So dad walked down the aisle, which I thought was so cute, sweet.
Wow.
And then they stepped in the heart of flowers. And yeah, we've got some family members there.
Now, I did notice, I want to bring it up because we've talked before about mobility and the sand, and there's some locations that are close right off a path onto the sand. How did that go with this location?
This particular spot was it's a little further from the entrance. I think it's Tammy, it was your mom, right? Who we had sitting in the chair. Is that right?
I mean, she could have stood if she had to, but it was nice that she had that for
And
her.
she was standing. I think she stood for, here. She is standing. I think she stood for the ceremony. A lot of times, Steve, we have chairs. By the way, we cannot have chairs for everybody to sit. That's not allowed. However, we can have chairs for people maybe that have mobility issues of any age, doesn't matter, you know. And I always talk to my couples about, is this, can so and so walk this far, you know, down the beach? We talk about that. And then the chairs, I would say more often than not, occasionally the person has to sit the entire time, but most of the time the chair is there and they want to stand like everybody else during the ceremony, and then they sit at times when they're not required to be standing. So it's really nice. And oftentimes we have people sit, you know, sometimes people are sitting during, but most of the time they just sit, you know, when when they go to rest, and everybody rotates through the chair. So it was just and remember, this is November, and I actually feel like, although Hawaii November is always warm, it definitely felt like November to me. There's a subtle temperature change, a subtle change in the sky in November. So yeah. Oh, and Tammy, your vows. I remember I always tell people you can have your vows, like they were obviously, and I want to actually hear about this. So they wrote their own vows, but I always say to people like, hey, have it on whatever piece of paper you want. This is for you. There is no judgment here. Some people have crumpled napkin. Like, I mean, they write it on the plane or they write it at the hotel, like the night before or something. So I love it because I feel like it reflects, you know, the personality of each couple. So anyway, I don't know if you two want to say anything about your vows or what that meant or what was going through your
Where we
head.
got that yellow paper? Was it in at the
It
Airbnb?
it was at our Airbnb. I think it was, yeah. So we were, you know, improvising on these because I waited until we got to Hawaii. I thought that might provide some inspiration. And, you know, we were both conscious of that, you know, one of the things that you have to be aware of with these late afternoon weddings is the sun is setting. So you're not on an exact clock, but you are, you know, Becky reminds you that you do have a certain amount of time to perform this to ensure that you still have time left for photos with the setting sun and all that stuff. So we kept it simple and short, and yeah, it was great.
Wow. Walk us through, Greg and Tammy, how things went. Where did you start? Were you at a hotel? Then you left the hotel. You went to the beach. What happened after that? Walk us through that special day.
Well, we let's see. When we got to the island, we stayed in a hotel for a couple of nights, and then we got a couple of rental houses for us and our family as part of this. And so we were in one house with her parents and my sister, and the other house was the younger folks. After we got up and got going, I guess the makeup and hair people came to the house. And then I left with a few of the guys, and we hung out at a nearby hotel, had a drink, and just relaxed. And I didn't see her then all day, which obviously was intentional. So then we went in separate cars. The beach venue is about 20 minutes from where we were staying. And it's a public beach, but you have to have a permit for that on the beach. And there were, you know, when we got there, Becky made sure that we got lined up with her to meet her in person the first Monday after we were there. So several days before the wedding, we went and scoped out the beach venue, and she kind of guides you through 3 or 4 different places in that little park where you can choose to have your ceremony. And you want to do that because there may be people in one place or another place. So you have to be a little flexible on, where you're going to choose. And then, we got there and we walked down there, and Tammy stayed behind again, so I wouldn't see her. And then she came down with her dad, and that's when I first got to see her.
Wow. What are you guys throwing into the water?
That's your lava rock.
That's
that one.
lava rock.
And what does that signify?
So that is, it represents, it's part of the ceremony. It's wrapped in a tea leaf during the ceremony. And I have, so Tammy and Greg held this during their I-dos. They picked out the rock from the beach, and then I wrapped it in a tea leaf. And it represents solidity and foundation in their relationship. And the tea leaf represents newness. So it's a new day in their relationship together, right? So, and then afterwards, I always have them throw the lava into the ocean. So the ocean can kind of keep their love safe, protect it. Also, you are not allowed to take lava off the island. And so I think I started this tradition so that people wouldn't take their rocks home with them.
And makes you throw it in the water.
Yeah.
You could take the bowl, you can't take the rock.
Well, in this case, Tammy could take the bowl.
Yeah.
So that way, but a lot of people love that idea, and it really is, it's super cool. I think it's a really fun thing. I always take the leaf off. Obviously, we don't want the leaf I dispose of in another way, but the rock goes back in.
Now, I saw in a couple of pictures back, Becky, you were holding a leaf, and I'm not sure what you were doing. Can you tell us?
Yes. So it was probably the Hawaiian ring blessing. Let me see. Here, let me close this out.
It was a close-up, like literally.
This one here? No.
There was another one, and it was very, like you only saw really hands and leaf.
Oh, here.
That's
so I'm doing
it.
the Hawaiian ring blessing there. So I'm holding the bowl with the rings, and then I do a Hawaiian ring blessing to bless the rings. So that's what I was doing there. And I explained the meaning of that blessing after it's done. I think I had the leaf, so it looks like a double leaf there. I think I had to fold it over. It was really windy and the leaf was kind of fluttering.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I folded it in half to make it stronger because I scoop up the water to put the thing over, and that was my improvisation for the day. Wow. So
you would never know there's wind. I would have no idea. You don't see it in the trees. You don't see it, dresses and clothing and hair flying all over the place. Not at all.
It wasn't that windy, but it was windy.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
It actually was probably better because I wasn't sweating.
Yeah.
Right.
It was nice. Felt good.
And then here they're pouring the water into the ocean. So I always have them pour the water back as well. On a windy day. So when it's not windy, you can kind of flick the water into the ocean. On a windy day, we do a pour so that it doesn't like come back in your face, because sometimes, the wind carries water. And it can be not as enjoyable as one might think in your nice wedding clothes. But yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you could kind of see in some of the photos in the background, there was rain up along the, hillside or mountainside of the volcano on the interior of the island. So it was a little blustery at times. It kind of came and went. It was, it wasn't constant, but there was enough there that it did mess with my hair a little bit. And, but it's an outdoor wedding. It's part of it. And
sure,
we embraced that. It was great.
Here's a great photo. You can kind of see the wind blowing here.
Yeah.
The trees and like so it wasn't raining at the beach. This beach almost never has rain. It does sometimes there's sprinkles here, but usually, it can be pouring up the hill, and it's usually nice at the beach. Did we have some sprinkles? I can't remember. I don't feel like.
No.
Not until we got in the car. Remember when we were leaving for dinner, it was pouring.
Yeah, we literally drove about 2 or 3 minutes up the road towards the interior, and it started raining. So, wow. But at the beach, there was no rain.
Yeah.
Greg and Tammy, have you been to Hawaii prior?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What for you, for others that aren't really sure, and I've been there twice in my life. Twice. Actually, I got married the first time when I was there, now that I think about it. However, I don't have Becky. It was a hotel. It was just, it was okay. It was a little gazebo by the water, but not that connected, warm experience. The hotels, they just turn them out. What do you want people to know about Hawaii? Having been there, we have perceptions of it. What would you want people to know?
What do you think?
I don't know.
It's gosh.
Or why would you pick Hawaii over, let's say, a tropical island in the Caribbean?
Well, for one, it feels like there's a lot of comfort and reliability there, right? It's part of the United States, but it's still got the tropics. Mm-hmm. There's something about, at least for me, there's something about the Polynesian culture, and that pulls through in this that's meaningful for me. And so knowing that gets blended in with your ceremony, and Becky does a wonderful job at doing that. So you feel connected. You feel connected to the environment, but it also offers all the creature comforts that you like to have in a wedding, right? From photographers to nice restaurants, to hair and makeup people, to lodging and all of those things, rental cars and everything that you want to have as part of your experience. Like we had a really nice dinner at a hotel nearby that just kind of put the topping on the wedding for us. It was wonderful.
That conversation.
And it was outside. It was right on.
Oh, wow.
It was right on the beach. It was under a little bit of cover, but you're experiencing Hawaii from beginning to end in your whole experience.
That conversation that you had with Becky, where you were just, she's it. Tell me how that went, because that can be a little uncomfortable. You don't know who this person is. What did you feel? How did you know? And they say when you know, you know. Yeah. And that goes in relationships and people you like you marry. How did you know that Becky was it?
What did it take us, about 5 minutes?
Not even that.
Not even that. To know Becky was the right one.
Yeah.
And, she just makes you feel at ease and comfortable instantly. And she's very genuine, like authentic. You feel that immediately, that she's not in it to, make money or she's in it. She wants to understand who you are, where you're coming from, how you met. And with us, like Tammy said, we've both been married before. And so there's always things associated with that, you need to feel comfortable with. And she was just, it was clear that she cared about us instantly.
And what for me too, we're pretty laid back. Like it wouldn't have mattered like what the flowers look like, as far as the wedding, those kind of things. But I also wanted someone that also was kind of that way. And she was completely on top of everything, but there was no like anxiety or, oh my gosh, you didn't get a hold of this person. It was just, and I could just tell when we met her that she was going to do a great job, and it would be, relaxing, and there wouldn't be a lot of drama or anything. And there wasn't. I mean, there was nothing. We tell everybody. I mean, Hawaii was great. The vacation, we were there for 2 weeks. It was great. But the wedding itself was just fantastic.
It was flawless.
Yeah, it was flawless.
It really was. She's really prepared. So she has a process, kind of a timeline and planning, but she layers in flexibility and your needs into that. So she's real accommodating. as part of your discussion as you are planning this out. And that's not just like one meeting. There are several meetings with Becky where, and like you said at the beginning, it's nice in this day and age to have Zoom and the ability to, meet her, talk to her, and get to know her through that forum, if you will. And so that made it easier for sure throughout. But just Becky is just incredibly professional and caring, and helps you to understand how she's going to do things in the service. She has a whole Rolodex of suppliers, vendors, whatever you want to call them, right? Service providers to help, and a website that you can go to see photos from other weddings she's done, to give you ideas and thoughts as you're working through this in the weeks or months leading up to yours. Then people you can call to schedule and coordinate. And she's very good about follow-up throughout. So you don't have to think about anything. Becky has got it handled.
Yeah.
You, Greg, thanks for mentioning the people she works with. These are personal friends. Like she's worked with them before. She knows what to expect. They've got her back. She's got their back. She knows what to expect. When you first connected with her, was it almost a feeling like I'm on a Zoom call here with a friend? Like I feel like I know her. She knows us.
Definitely.
For sure.
And that, that's how we knew. We had a list of maybe 3 or 4 different wedding planners, wedding ceremony service providers, and her meeting was first, and we canceled. We canceled all the rest of them.
Yeah,
we didn't even do any others.
Wow, you knew that you wanted to be on this island, though. Is that right?
We knew we wanted to be in Hawaii, and I think we pretty much knew that the Big Island felt like the right fit for us in terms of, because one of the things you have to consider is we had family coming from here in Colorado, Oregon, Los Angeles. And so we needed people to be able to get there easily. The Kona airport made that easy. Everyone was able to fly directly into Kona. And we wanted a little bit more laid back island. We didn't want, we wanted as little stress as possible, as well as the knowing that we probably would be able to get an outdoor venue that wasn't real super busy, or as busy as it might be on, Oahu or Maui, as an example.
So just for everybody, you could have done your wedding at a rental property. And Becky's done that quite a few times if somebody so chooses to do that. You chose the beach. Any reason why you just wanted to be at the beach?
I mean, part of it's just like, who doesn't think that like getting married on a beach, a tropical beach, is not like a perfect venue? I mean, right? It's just kind of one of those things that, that sounds so wonderful. And so, I mean, I don't know how that, I mean, like I told you how it came up, but like we had talked kind of about getting married in Hawaii before.
Yep.
And then it all went to, we're going to do it on this cruise. We're going to go into Spain and stuff. And that obviously fell through. And it was just kind of like, it just seemed simple and easy. And just, I mean, a great place, because I had been Hawaii twice before. It had been 25 years since I had last been there. But it was like, that just sounded like a great place to do it. And then we found Becky, and it made it even solidified the decision that, this was the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, you have, these are something like this obviously is kind of a pretty critical thing in your life, right? It's an important moment. You don't have too many moments like that in your life, that are any more important. And so you want to feel comfortable with everything, the venue and the environment. For us, we wanted to be natural, and we wanted that feeling, that Hawaiian feeling. But we also wanted it to be kind of laid back and not stressful, not too stuffy or overly traditional. We've both been there, and we're looking for something different. And then you couple that with, like I said, you want to be in good hands with someone, because you don't know really, other than having been there, you don't know much about what you're stepping into. We both just felt it immediately as we were having that first conversation with Becky. And it was like, it's just, it connects the dots of everything to where you just know it's right. It's one of those things where you just know this is the right thing.
You brought up a great point before in getting married in Spain, and I wasn't aware of it. There are a lot of countries, even in the Caribbean, when you are married there, it's legally recognized in the United States. Apparently, Spain is not one of those. Obviously, in Hawaii, it is recognized when you get married that it's part of, obviously, the United States.
Right.
Tell us how the marriage license certificate, how does that go? A lot of people are unaware. I know that Becky holds your hand through that, but can you walk us through that process?
Yeah. So first thing we did is just go online, and you pay, I don't know, what was it, $50 or something, and you sign up to get a marriage license. I think you can do that a year out, but we did it about 2 months before the wedding. And then you have that. And then, Becky handled all of this for us. But my understanding is then she set then you get an appointment with someone to issue the license. And so she had set that up for us. And then we went and met with the lady. She was actually at the Four Seasons Hotel, which was right by the beach where we got married. So after we saw Becky on that Monday to pick out our spot, we went over and got that taken care of. And then I guess she sends it in. It just, it just happens. So I don't know the rest of the process.
So Becky has, once you've taken care of that part, then you get to the day of the wedding and the ceremony, and Becky has all of that in hand, right? So after she performs the service, she officiates the signing of your wedding license, and then she sends that in to the state of Hawaii, and then they take care of getting you your original and your copy by mail. And then you also have a certificate and a copy of it that you get to have with you when you're done at the wedding itself. But you get the official thing from the state in the mail, and that's all seamless. It took us maybe 20 minutes or so at the Four Seasons to go through that process of the licensing with the representative for the state at the hotel, and
then they sent everything in for us.
Yeah, Becky sends it in, and they send it to us.
Yeah,
very easy. Which that was part of the challenge with Spain, because had we done that, we would have been married by a captain or some official on the ship. It was going to be a cruise thing, but it wouldn't have been a licensed thing in the U.S. So we would have had to have gone through that process again here, and that just didn't feel like the right thing for us.
Yeah, some couples do that. They come back. Some couples come back and have a reception, but it sounds like you wanted it all happening there at once. Becky, what can you tell us that we're missing in terms of their ceremony?
Well, I was just going to say something about the license too. Is a license, or I should say, a marriage certificate issued in Hawaii, as you were saying, is valid in all 50 states. Sometimes people are not sure about that, but yes, it doesn't matter which state you get married in; it's valid in all 50 states. And I would say in most countries around the world, marriages that happen in the United States, including Hawaii, are legally recognized. Sometimes there's special things you have to do when you get home once you have the marriage certificate, but I've never heard of a couple not having their marriage certificate when they got married here recognized in their home country. So that is something that I do know. And Yeah, it's always fun to kind of help. I have a whole thing on my client resources link about helping like all the steps to the marriage license
Yeah.
so that it's easy. Because it's, and I think Steve, I've told you this before. My husband and I got married in Hawaii. I don't remember anything about getting my marriage license. I remember signing it, but I don't remember a single thing about the appointment. Like, did I have an appointment? I guess I had an appointment. Like, I don't remember. And I had to do that myself, but I don't remember. I swear, like I feel like I didn't go, but I'm sure I had to. So it's like one
Wow.
of those weird amnesia moments. But now I help people all the time. And the hope is that it was so easy that it's not something you think about that much. But yeah, no, I I feel like, geez, we've covered an awful lot of good stuff today too. And by the way, thank you guys. I'm so happy, like listening. I'm like, that's exactly what I hope. And I do, like Tammy and Greg were talking about. I would say that I do a majority of the weddings that I do are for people that have been married before. They have had the big wedding, and they prefer something. The reason they come to Hawaii is to have like the easy, like the more laid back wedding. And occasionally there's first marriages who say, I don't want that thing. I've been to so many. That's not what I want. I want something like this. And so
Yeah.
uh, for me, it's really fun. I mean, I love it. And I love the feeling of um, I want everything to go smoothly, but also like we're on a beach in Hawaii and things might happen and it'll be okay. Like I
Mhm.
feel like I got it. It's all right. You're going to be all right. So yeah.
I always write on the positive side, but I'm kind of curious, Tammy and Greg, if you could have changed anything, and I'm not talking about the wedding or just about the wedding, but everything going to Hawaii and a lesson for all, is there anything you would have done differently?
We probably wouldn't have stayed as long after the wedding. So we went to Maui and we stayed another 8 days.
Hmm.
So, I mean, and that was great, but we probably could, because we had already got a week of Hawaii and the wedding and all, so we probably wouldn't have stayed as long. Maybe we would have only stayed for a couple days or maybe honeymoon somewhere else. That was like our honeymoon. But I would say that's the only thing we kind of
Yeah.
talked about.
I mean, on the big island of Hawaii and the whole Kona experience, I wouldn't change anything.
Right.
It was great. And it's not like Maui's a bad place to land for your
Right.
sort of honeymoon, but in hindsight, we probably would have maybe come back and done a little something different with that part of it, just because it was like 3 weeks in total in Hawaii, which, and since we both had been there a few times, I think that probably was part of it. We'd both been to Maui, we'd done that thing. So, and I would just add to one of the other things that we experienced. Becky presents you with various choices for everything, whether it's a restaurants or the flowers and photographer, all of the things that you need, even a smaller wedding. And to a person, all of these providers, when you'd first meet them, go up and introduce yourself, and you'd be talking about your wedding, every single one of them would say, "Oh, Becky, she's great, isn't she?" I mean, literally every single one of them it was just obvious that they all had a lot of respect for her, that she had a strong relationship with them. And, they just, it just reinforced for us our decision to use Becky's service, and knowing that, if there was any hiccup, she would take care of it for sure. And she would have the relationships to be able to do that.
There's a lot of comfort in that, knowing, and I feel that you both knew that from the get-go, that if challenges present, she's got us. We don't have to worry so much. It'll be sure, whatever it may be. If it's logistics, if it's lodging, and whatever, she'll be able to help us with that. We're good with that. You had that feeling?
Right. Yeah,
Definitely.
And the other thing is, you meet her that day, and she makes sure that you understand that, because we were there about a week in advance, not quite a week, but that if you need her for anything, just call her.
Mhm.
Like she gives you her personal cell and says, I'm available. So we didn't really have to do that much. I think there was a couple of times where Tammy maybe gave her a text or a call, but how some people could just be like, this is all set up, and if anything comes up, you figure it out. That's not how Becky handles you.
Well, even I had not brought double-sided tape. I didn't end up needing it, but I thought I might need it for my dress. And so I texted Becky that morning. I'm like, hey, do you have any double-sided tape? And she was like, oh, we don't, but I can go get some for you if you want me to, and I didn't end up needing it. Actually, I think you did go get it.
I did, yeah.
Some there, yeah. It's like those just little things that she doesn't have to do. She could have just said, oh, no, I don't have any, sorry. But she actually brought me some, even though I didn't end up needing it. But
nice. Yeah. Did you both get to meet her husband?
Yeah, he's great too. He helps out.
That's another thing that it was great. Like he takes ourselves. The last thing you want when even your guests, right? You don't want them to have to be responsible for all the pictures. And so he grabbed the phones we gave him the phones. And we had so many wonderful pictures. So right when we got home or even right after the wedding, we could send these beautiful pictures to our friends. We didn't have to wait, to get the professional photography. So that was fantastic.
Yeah. That's part of the deal so I give Matt my phone and set it up, for him. And during the whole service, Tammy's mom you saw in one of the pictures, she's there taking her pictures, but pretty much everybody else was like, yeah, I get it. Matt's got the phone. He's going to take a bunch of pictures and videos, and my phone was just loaded up with them. And that was great. And he was, he was super helpful, and he's very personable. So, whilst we're getting our professional pictures taken afterwards and that, he's mingling with our guests and chatting them up and talking to them about various things. And, everybody loved him.
Here, I'll show you something real quick.
Sure.
We haven't actually, we're just getting our professional ones, but this is one of the ones we didn't even have to wait. See?
And again, for everyone, this is November 1st.
Matt took.
It hasn't even been 6 weeks.
I didn't have to wait for them.
Wow,
wait already.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like you snap your finger and it all takes place. It happens. We're just about out of time. Just one final question for you both. Poi, yes or no?
What was the question?
Poi.
Poi. No.
No.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I tried. I just can't.
The only thing I will say, the only time I've ever liked poi, I had it in a potato soup once, and it was really good because it was a starchy soup, and it actually tasted great because it was melted. You didn't have the texture of poi, which is like a gelatinous.
I tried it 25 years ago, and
yeah, me too.
It's a no other way.
It's a no.
I don't know if they have this on the island, but poi wrapped in bacon might get it done. I don't know. Like maybe come up with something. The poi ice cream, God, can't be that bad. Thank you, Greg and Tammy, for all your insight on this. I feel like I was there. Just a wonderful experience, and thank you for sharing what it was like working with Becky. And I just
happy to.
It's been weeks. It's been weeks. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very happy, and we really appreciate Becky and everything she did for us. And anyone out there that needs someone to help them with the wedding in Hawaii, she's the best.
Yeah. Well, do what Greg and Tammy did. SimpleKonaBeachWeddings.com. Start the conversation. See what it feels like. Maybe she's the one. You'll find it. You'll know. You'll know from the get-go. Both of you, thank you for being here today. Becky, thank you as well. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Right. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B. Console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C. Take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D. Help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.